Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and welcome to another episode of The Ways We Move, the podcast where we highlight innovative mobility solutions and the people behind them. And today, have you guessed? We have another exciting new guest, very important guest in my life because he's really unique. What he does is extremely unique. And yes, I know, originally on the show I wanted to highlight all sorts of innovative mobility solutions, meaning electric vehicles on the road, electric boats, and of course railway and I do work in the advanced air mobility field, specifically on the infrastructure. And so I was very happy to have James Bell, a good friend of mine, on the show, and Kyle, also a great friend of mine whom I used to write with a lot back in the Clean Technica days. And so today I have another special guest of sorts. It is about flying and it is about electricity, but it's solar and it's up to the stratosphere. And if you know those two words together, solar stratosphere, you know that I'm talking about Raphael Domjan, who is at the head of SolarStratos. Now, SolarStratos is an amazing project in and of itself. How can we fly to the stratosphere, meaning in a spacesuit inside of an airplane, using photovoltaic panels on the wings? And of course, Rafael explains the trick of doing that, how you have to be at a certain angle, your attitude has to be like this, and the sun's got to beat on you as much as possible, the types of propellers that he uses for that. And so we talk about that. The one thing that amazes me about Rafael is, first of all, he's an amazing person, but second of all, he describes himself, rightfully so, as an adventurer. And so we talk about that. How did it start? Why did you want to become an adventurer? And that's all he wanted to ever do. But he also thought that everything had been discovered. And I know, of course, there are lots of things that haven't been discovered. For instance, our oceans are vastly underexplored compared to the space we have around us. And so he decided to do a lot of things around electric mobility, mostly around solar mobility. He sailed around the world in an electric boat, a solar boat. He, was the first one to do that. And now he's tackling the stratosphere in an electric aircraft. And that is something that's pretty amazing. 2 years ago, I met up with him at the Paris Air Show. I saw the aircraft then. Of course, it's evolved a lot. I talked to the team, and what can I say? I mean, Raphael is just an amazing person. Now, why am I pronouncing his name in French, Raphael Domjan? And well, it's because he's Swiss, and so we speak French a lot of times. So we're hoping that we'll be able to do a French podcast next. That's going to be another thing. Well, without further ado, I guess we should let Raphael talk about what it takes and why do you want to do something like this and what does it mean for all of us. We hope you enjoy this. As always, please share, subscribe, and obviously that's very important to us all, but also let us know your comments. What do you think it's important to fly to the stratosphere with electricity only? Why do we need to do these things? What is so important about that? And tell us a little bit about what's your idea of an adventure, because I'm 60, so I grew up with a lot of adventures in my mind and as heroes and cult heroes, whether it was on strips or in the movies or on series. But I find there are much less and less of that these days, and there's more and more of a sort of a social media copying, who has the best life kind of thing. Adventurers make us dream, and they also allow us to access something that's almost within reach, but it takes a lot to get there. And I think Rafael is the perfect person to let us know about that. Please enjoy this video and let us know what you think about all of this. We always welcome your comments. Thank you. Rafael, take it away. Hey, Rafael, it's great to have you on the podcast today. Please introduce yourself. Who is Rafael?
I am Raphael Domjan, and I am the founder of Solar and the pilot of SolarStratos, a solar aircraft. And the final goal of this project is to go to the edge of space, just powered by the sun. But before this, I am a solar adventurer, and I went around the world just powered by the sun. It was the first ever around the world just powered by the sun with a solar boat with Planet Solar. And I did some other adventure. As an example, I was a pilot of the first flight of a head of state in an electric aircraft with the Prince Albert II of Monaco in
That's right.
2021. And so, yes, I am in love with aircraft and with solar energy. And yeah, we will try this summer to reach 10,000 meters just powered by the sun.
That's pretty amazing. And I just want to say here that you landed in my hometown of Nice, and I was so envious. I wanted to be there and see you guys and shake your hand, but that was amazing. So yes, and also I think it's also important
I
to.
was the first guy to do a takeoff and to fly from Nice airport. And for that flight, they closed the airport just for me and the Prince Albert of Monaco. We were just with a small Venice Pipistrel, very small aircraft, very light aircraft, but the airport was closed just for us.
That's amazing because closing the Nice airport, I mean, it's a huge international airport. That's a very big thing. So I can only imagine what that must have been like. And yeah, I saw it, and I wish I would have been there. So, but tell us also about another thing. I mean, you seem to know, and you're a part of a group of last adventurers of the air and sea, by the way, also out there in Switzerland, because you know also Bertrand Picard, and you know a lot of these people, and it kind of feels like you guys are all working towards the same destination, which is to move as efficiently as possible. Tell us about the whole team out there. At least that's the way I see it from this side.
Yeah, maybe if I want to be honest, we have to talk about the first pioneer of electric and solar aircraft. And the first, it was the team of Solar One in England, just next of London, with Fréteau, who made the first flight of a solar aircraft in 1978. Then Paul McCready with his
Yeah.
son Marshall McCready, and with Janice Brown, Stefan Patzek, who did the first crossing of the English Channel with a solar aircraft and electric,
Yep.
1981. And
Yeah.
and today, to be honest, we are now there is more people who fly with an electric aircraft because there is a pipistrel. It's coming really now.
Yes.
When my first flight of in an electric aircraft, it was 10 years ago in 2015, and we were probably less than 10 or 20 people who fly with an
Yes.
electric aircraft. And today there is much more people who is flying with electric aircraft. With solar, it's still really confidential. There is not so many people flying with a solar aircraft. But yeah, the goal
Yeah.
to be the to spread this message that what we can achieve with solar energy, with electric engine, we can do everything that it's possible to do today with a normal engine that is using fossil fuel. We can do even better with an electric engine than with solar energy.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, internal combustion engines not efficient. We all know that. It's wasteful. We're spending a lot of money on friction and heat. It's just ridiculous. Before we get to the solar, of course, because this is what we're going to talk about, solar flight. What was the first airplane you flew 10 years ago? The electric.
Yeah, it was a Electra trainer, the
That was the
aircraft
trainer. Yep.
Electra
Yeah.
trainer, one
Yep.
seater aircraft. The
Yeah.
test pilot was on the ground, and I was not supposed to fly. I was supposed to do a fast taxi, and then the plane took off, and then I have to fly. That was a really nice adventure with Electra One. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in the first alpha, the Pipistrel Alpha at the time, and I have to say it was so amazing to be on the taxiway and to just it was quiet. There was nothing to twiddle, no carburetor to twiddle, and then all of a sudden throttle forward and poof. I don't know. It was just like a mixture of being in a glider, but with a little bit more noise. But it was yeah, it was amazing. So fast forward today, you're taken off with solar power, and I saw, by the way, the aircraft at the last Paris Air Show when you came out there and everything. Tell us a little bit more about that because that's a whole new level of adventure into air.
Yeah, we were 2 years ago in the Paris Air Show. The first things, SolarStratos is the first ever solar aircraft who can carry passengers as an aircraft. So it's the first. Before it was possible to fly with solar aircraft, but only for the pilots. So always I say that the difference between 0 passenger and 1, it's huge. The
Yes.
augmentation is really important. And yeah, it's to fly with a solar aircraft. It's really something that is amazing. It's difficult to explain because it's the only aircraft that you can fly and that you can recharge the battery when you are flying. This is something that is really amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you are going
Wow.
down, or even when you have a lot of sun. Tomorrow I am going to Sion from Payan Airport, 1.5 hours of flight. And probably as soon as I am at the top of my altitude, I will recharge my battery until Sion. And this is always amazing when you fly with no noise, no engine, no CO2. It's really, really silent, and you are recharging the battery. And this is something that is really, it's really amazing.
So you can actually recharge the batteries completely while you're flying. Is that what you're saying?
It's possible. Yes, it's possible. If the battery is completely empty, no, it's probably not
Well,
because
yeah.
it
Yeah.
will took too much times. But yeah, it's possible to recharge the battery. One of the longest flight I did, it was almost 4 hours, and I land with 80% inside of the battery.
Wow.
That was
That's
possible
pretty
to stay
amazing.
much longer. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's something that's still a little bit we're still off from doing that on the road today. I mean, there are some solar powered EV cars. I think the last one I saw was Lightyear in the Netherlands, and I always like the idea and the concept. Aptera, if they ever get to it, will be fantastic. But you're doing it, and you're doing it even before everybody else. So tell us a little bit about 10,000 meters. That's roughly 33,000 feet. Oh, a lot of challenges happen out there, not only on the electricity side of thing, on the oxygen side of things. What does that all look like?
Yeah, and the challenge now of the oxygen system until 35,000 feet, it's okay. This is not a big challenge. We have a really good system coming from the French army. We have the same system that they are using with the Rafale. So
Whoa.
this is until this altitude is not a big problem. Of course, the
Okay.
challenge for Solar Stratos, it's nobody has been there with an electric aircraft, even and with a solar aircraft. The highest at the moment is Solar Impulse. It's Bertrand Piccard who fly to 9,200. Now the
Yep.
goal is to go higher than this and to go to 10 kilometers. So it's a big step. It's a big challenge. And as an example, we need to organize to see how we have to manage the pitch and the voltage and the power. But nobody has been there, even with our aircraft. So when I will fly, I need at the same time a little bit to check how it's possible to climb, to have the best climb with a minimum of energy, depending of all of these parameters. But this is adventure, this is exploration, and this is what I like. This is what I love with solar energy, with the power of the sun.
Yeah, it's an undescribable feeling, and there's nothing better than to actually use the energy that we have to move, and that's where we're all going, hopefully, with advanced air mobility. Tell me one thing, there is a challenge, though, going up that far up is that now on the electricity side of things, you have arcage, you have a lot of things that can happen. I mean, have you guys obviously, you've considered all of that, but are you looking into that? How are you going about that? Because you really need to insulate your cables really, really well at that altitude.
Until 10 kilometers, the problem start at 10. So I think for this
Okay.
flight, but of course we check this, but we haven't been there. So I will know when I will be there.
Yeah.
This is
Wow.
adventure. Also,
Yep.
I mean, this aircraft, I am a glider pilot. This aircraft, then it could be a glider. I can come back
Yep. That's
without
true.
engine. I am a glider pilot. I have my license. It's why to fly this aircraft, or you are a test pilot, or you have a glider license and you have the license to fly an aircraft. In that case, so I can come back without power. But of course, there is a risk that we
Yeah.
lose the more difficult thing. If I have a big problem, then I do not have the transponder, I do not have the radio, and I will be in the space of Charlie. So and nobody will know where I will be. So this is more the challenge. To be honest, if it's happen, a sky guide will not like me in Switzerland. I think I will have some problems.
Yikes. Are you gonna have a chaser all the way out there, or are you really completely on your own?
I am on my own because nobody can come with me almost.
Wow.
There is only
Yeah, you're right.
maybe FI-18, but they are flying much faster than me. So an helicopter
Yep.
cannot follow me. There is not so
Nope.
aircraft who can climb, and you cannot come with an Airbus, to follow me. So now I will
No.
be alone, just by myself. But the same when we did this world tour with Planet Solar, we were in the middle of the South Pacific at
Yep.
3,000 kilometers of the first island, and we were completely alone. This is adventure. Otherwise, it's not really an adventure.
That's the definition of adventure. You're right. You said
If
it
there is
really,
no
really
risk,
well.
really no risk, then it's not an adventure anymore.
No,
That's
no, no. It's
my point
potatoes,
of view.
potatoes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So tell me, the goal is to go all the way up to the stratosphere. So 10,000 meters, 35,000 feet. That's one step. Then there is the rest, and up there, that's a whole different ballpark. So how in the heck are you going to get up there?
So first, the goal is to be the highest. The final goal, this is true, is the stratosphere. So now we have to go there to see what is the performance of the aircraft, of the whole system, and then we will see. I hope first of all that we will be able to achieve this goal.
Yeah, yeah,
We are working on this project since 10 years now. So we spend a
yeah.
lot of time, a lot of
That's
money.
right.
We have yes, the trust of our partner, and we really need to do our best to go there. And afterward, we will see, okay, what we can do with this aircraft and how we need to organize to go higher. But the goal is still to go to the stratosphere, just powered by the sun without burning any fossil energies.
Without burning any fossil energy. And also, I think for me, like, the first questions that come to mind is, how do you design a propeller that can work at almost sea level and then go all the way out there where there's almost no air anyway? So what is the thrust and how do you do that? I'm assuming you have variable pitch
Yeah,
propellers, at the very least. Obviously, they're going to be in full mode when they're up there. I mean, I can't, I have a hard time conceptualizing that, because we can do propellers that fly, 22,000 feet in the air. That's okay. But that's a whole different level of complexity up there.
yeah, don't forget that the highest ever aircraft, you probably know, Nicola, it's Helios. It was an
Yep.
aircraft, an electric
Yep.
and solar
Yep.
aircraft
Yep.
from AeroVironment who fly at
Yep.
100,000 feet. So that's possible.
Yeah.
But this is
Yeah.
true. It's a challenge. And actually, the propeller that we have now is much better than the one of last year, almost 10% of
Okay.
efficiency more. This is a very good news. And it's quite complex because, as an example, when you climb with more pitch, then you have more torque. And when the battery is going down and
Yep.
down, then the voltage is going down. So then you have more current, so more heat. And so you need also to manage this. There is not only the best efficiency of the propeller, there is also, you have also to manage the temperature and the torque of the engine. So it will be very interesting. That flight will be very interesting for us, and I think for electric aircraft.
So I'm assuming you're just gonna go like pitch up and then stabilize, pitch up, stabilize, pitch up, and then you're just gonna do a series of steps like that until you reach the highest ceiling, obviously, right?
But not really, no. The goal is to climb
Really?
and to see how, with the same power, I can check by changing the pitch. But we know that more pitch we put, better it is. But
Yeah.
then the voltage will go down, more current, more heat, and at once, then we are the limit, and the system will stop. So then, if the system stop and we still have some energy into the battery, we lose this energy. So then, I mean, I will have to manage this during the flight. And that's adventure. This is exploration. This is a spirit of pioneer, of innovation. Yeah.
Absolutely, because it's not just, I mean, you're flying, but you're also conserving, or making sure your energy is as efficient as possible using, I mean, using everything. So you're gonna be doing a lot of things, and it's just one person doing all of that. And like you said, you're alone. And
Yeah.
you're right, you can
And I
glide back
need to
down,
see
but
about
that's
the
not
sun
fun.
also. Nicolas, I need to put the plane, if possible, with the sun behind me. So then when I
Yeah.
am climbing, I have more energy coming from the sun. So you have a lot of things to think. And I have to do this at 30,000 feet of altitude. And I am blonde. So that will be a big challenge.
Love it. Thank you for saying that. That was funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. So you're gonna have to figure out what, well, here's the other question. I never really thought about it, but you're right that you need to have the sun hitting you as straightforward as
Yeah.
possible. So the
Yeah.
wind conditions
And
change
really
all the
behind
time.
me. Otherwise, I have some shadow, and then I lose more energy. So I really
You
need to
lose more
fly with
energy.
the sun behind me at 6 o'clock, and it's like this that I will get the maximum of power from the solar cells. This
And
altitude,
hoping
it will
that,
be, it will be almost 10 kilowatts coming from the sun.
woof. Oh
Yeah,
wow, that's a lot. That's a
yeah,
lot more than I thought. So,
yeah.
and of course, hoping that the wind
We
is
see,
coming towards you.
this is a calculation on the paper, Nicolas. We will see when we will be there. Huh? You
Yes,
know.
more or less, plus or minus.
It's always
But
what
then
I
also,
say. On the paper, it's working. Now we need to see if it's really
yeah,
working.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love paper, but I want to see in
Yeah,
real life. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. But also making sure that you have the wind so you have enough portents to go up. I mean, that's a lot of challenges that you're dealing at the same time. So, yeah, that's pretty exciting.
this is a big challenge for us because we know that the ceiling altitude of this aircraft is much higher for the stratosphere. We make the design, we make a GVT, for the problem of the flutter of the plane. So this is not supposed to be the problem. It could be, but that would be a bad surprise. Be it's supposed to be the problem. The problem now it's more the energy. Yeah,
The energy. Yeah.
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 This is the
Yeah. Making sure
challenge.
you have enough and,
Yeah,
yeah, squeezing as much energy as you can, which is exactly what we all do. Efficiency, efficiency, efficiency.
exactly.
One thing that I think one of the, and you're right, you've been doing this for easily 10 years. I've been following you for easily 10 years. I wrote about you, I don't know how long ago. I still had hair when I wrote
Yeah.
about you,
Don't tell me,
but,
Nicolas. I was younger.
we were younger back then. And I also talked about in the introduction about your book because everybody should read that book because I think, oh gosh, now I'm going on a tangent. You're the first person I've ever seen write a book about electric mobility that touches on all three different types of electric mobility out there. And it was such a beautiful, because I thought I knew a lot, but there were so many things I didn't know that, yeah, and you brought it all into perspective. So I hope you watched the beginning of this video and the introduction because I show you the book. It is
I will.
absolutely amazing. It's
We
spectacular,
need to
and you
translate,
said
Nicolas. We need maybe to translate this in English, but that book is a really good book. To be honest, I was not. I work only maybe. I write only maybe 5% of this book. This book has been written by an archaeologist and a girl that is. He work a lot as a I don't know how to say historian in English. I'm sorry,
a
but she
historian.
historian. Yes, she worked a lot to make this book, and it's an amazing book about solar pioneer of aircraft, boat, and car.
And cars. Yes, absolutely. All three of them. I'll tell you one thing, challenge accepted. If you want me to translate it, I will translate because it is really well worth it. It's something everybody should be reading. So yep,
Oh, no, if you want to translate, we need to
we'll
do
do
this
it.
book in English. I really want to do this book in English.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Go
mean, it
to
should be done in.
10,000. I go to the stratosphere, and then we organize this. Okay, Nicolas?
All right. Yeah, yeah. Let's first things first. So the other very obvious question and challenge you have in the stratosphere is not only there is no air, but our human skin cannot handle this. So you one of the first things that I saw on your website was a spacesuit. Oh my gosh, flying with a spacesuit in a solar airplane. Mind-boggling. Tell us a little bit more about that because that's very cumbersome. You're not very nimble with a spacesuit. How are you working with all of that?
Yeah, that would be a challenge. Now, let's say the pressurized suit that it's built by Vesda, I make a lot of tests in the chamber, so it's working. But of course, when I know that the plane can go there, that's so that we have enough energy. Now we know that it's supposed to be able to go there. Then we will have to manage. And for this, we will need to add a lot of pilots because, of course, I will not be able to fly really the plane. If there is a problem, yes, I can. I know that it's possible
Yeah,
for me. The biggest problem is with the feet. That's really the biggest problem. It's really difficult to fly with the feet. With your hands, it's okay. You need more power, but that's okay. But with your feet, it's really difficult because the design of the spacesuit is not designed to work with your feet. And when you're on the space shuttle or when you're on the
you're right.
don't do anything with 2 feet. So this is really the challenge that we will have to manage. But yeah, now first challenge 10,000 and until 35,000 feet. I don't need this suit, so that's
That's
good.
true. Yeah, yeah. No, no, for the first challenge. Yeah. You're right. I never thought about it, but you're right. They don't need to do anything with their feet on the space shuttle.
No,
That's
no, no.
but you will. You have a rudder and you have
Why
to
you
use
need
it.
you need a rudder. So it's why I think we need to put an autopilot that
Yeah.
is managing the aircraft.
Wow, so that's actually, yeah, that's a lot of challenges to work out until you make it there. And I think maybe also to tell people a little bit about, now you're going up to 35,000 feet. There were steps before you even got there. You've done a lot of flying the last few years. Can you tell us about the incremental steps that you had to do to now be able to go there to finally go all the way up there?
Yeah. We did a lot of work and a lot of flight. We have more than 100 flight now with Solar Stratos. Of course, we need to do that was in 2022. We did the ground vibration test at Lonera in Paris, in France.
That's right. That's right.
Check
Yes.
about the flutter. That's one of the biggest problem when you want to go very high because the speed, the true airspeed is increasing. And then we work a lot on the propeller, on the battery optimization. You need to know that was the work of the job of the test pilot. You need to know, okay, what is
Yes.
the best rate of the plane? At which speed is the best rate? This is the basic. Then you need to know, which power you need to put, and the power is
Yep.
depending of to how you discharge the battery, because then the efficiency of the battery is decreasing also. So you need to take
Of
care of
course.
consideration all of these aspects. And
Of
then you need to
course.
know, okay, when you have this, what is the best pitch of the prop in order to get maximum of altitude, minimum of energy. And that was the job. And today we really increased this. We were around 700 feet per kilowatt hour. And now we are close than 1,000 feet for 1 kilowatt hour. So this is mean that with 1 kilowatt hour, it's 0.1 liters of fuel, and for with this we can climb 1,000
Wow.
feet.
So 25% better than what you started out with. That's pretty hefty.
Yeah.
Another question that
Yeah, yeah.
we
At the beginning, it was a really bad blade. It was just a propeller for the first flight with no calculation. Just for the first flight, you don't need the really good propeller. So we didn't have the good propeller, so we start with a bad one. But the one of last year and the one of this year, it's almost 10% of difference. Yeah, yeah,
wow.
yeah. We are
So
probably
speak
around 65, 70% of efficiency with the propeller. That is pretty good, huh?
That's very good. That's very, very good. So speaking of propeller and aircraft, because again, I mean, nothing is designed to fly that high that you can find anywhere out there commercially. So you've probably had to design a lot of the aircraft yourself, and obviously the propeller. Can you tell us anything without, of course, selling any recipes? But can you tell us a little bit about what you've had to do? Is there anything that you started off from? Did you get an Electra and then just put on new wings, or what happened? How did you go about this? Because this is a whole new.
So,
This is
so, so,
very
Nicolas,
unique.
this is important to understand that I am not the designer of the aircraft. The designer of the aircraft is Kalin Golagan and Konstantin
Whom I
Kodak,
met.
two men of that you probably know them. It's a two very nice gentlemen. And I met Kalin when I was still during my first time on the world tour with the boat. It was the day before the end in 2012, so 13 years ago now, and they are the designer of the plane. Now, of course, we work together and we put the solar cells on the wings. We make some optimization on the system. So we did some job and we did all the test flights. This is our task. This is our job. But we work really, very close with them. And the designer of this aircraft is not me. It's Kalin Kolagan and
Yeah.
Konstantin Kodak.
Yeah, that's true. Because I remember having talked to him a little bit, and we talked about how much work they put into the wings and everything. So it seemed like it was a lot, and I was wondering if there was anything left of the original structure that you use, and obviously maybe just a little percentage, but
Not
that
that
makes a lot
much.
of sense.
You change the
Yeah.
gear, you change the wings because we break the wings. Maybe you
Yep.
remember we break the wings. It was just
Yes.
a difficult
Yep.
times for the whole team.
Yep.
Then we have the COVID, the war in Ukraine, and you know that our spacesuit is coming from Zvezda in Moscow. So yeah, our life is sometimes quite difficult. It's an adventure.
Yeah, yeah, life with disruptive technologies is not easy. I mean, it seems really romantic, but yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Every day
Yes,
you never
yes.
know what you're going to wake up to, but hey, at least you're doing something different, right? You're not just working for another company. So, usually actually around this time now we start to talk about, who is the person who shows up doing these things. So my question that I usually ask is, Raphael, what is wrong with you? Why don't you just get a regular job and call it a quit? I mean, what gets you out of bed in the morning?
Yeah, I think I have still today the spirit of a child. When I was 14, 16 years old, I was following Cousteau, the Commodore Jacques Cousteau.
Yes.
I was
Yes.
really, for me, some adventure like the Contiki adventure when they cross the raft from Peru to the French Polynesian island. And for me, I
Yep.
want to be an adventurer. For me, that's really nice. That's what I want to do. I was thinking that it will be too late because everything has been done. For me, the last big adventure was the world tour of Bertrand Piccard and Brian Jones, to go around the world with a balloon with non-stop. That for me, it was clear. Okay, now it's done. Everything has been done. So I need to find another job, another adventure. Is why I start to be a paramedic, pilot, because I think it was something very interesting. Not to be a paramedic and to work in a rescue team every morning. You don't know what will be your days. It's also an adventure. Uh,
Yeah, that's true.
then I had this crazy idea of Planet Solar. And for me, that's nice because today I can do something that I like for myself, spirit of adventure. But also I'm doing something that I think is important for mankind and for our society and for the biodiversity of this planet and for the climate. My fight is to protect the atmosphere, the biosphere of this planet, because it's the containing of everything on this planet. We need really to be able to protect our climate. Otherwise, it will be too late for everything.
Yeah, I think you said it very well. I was talking to a native friend of mine. Actually, I was just on a conversation with that person before, and he said, it's amazing here in the United States, the natives lived thousands of years, no problem. You guys show up, 200 years later, everything is polluted. Right? And it's ridiculous. I mean, the climate is important. I mean, we can't just keep on taking without thinking of the consequences. And that's the one thing that he reminded me is that, they always took what they needed, but what they needed, not more, not hoarding, not ripping things out and everything. So yeah, that's something that we're learning how to switch around. And, there's still some old dinosaurs out there, but we're kicking them out slowly but surely, left and right.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. Nicola, you're right.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, there are more people like you and me than the others anyway, so it's just what was that saying? You can cut all the flowers you want, springtime comes along nonetheless. It was summer of '68 in Czechoslovakia or something like that, right? That's it. That's end of discussion. I have
Yeah.
nothing else to say about that.
Yeah.
Tell me something that you would like our listeners and our watchers to walk away with. What is the one message you want to give, especially those who are hopefully younger or young enough that, they're still going, gee, what am I going to do? I'd like to do this. What would be the one thing you want somebody to walk away from seeing this podcast today?
Yeah, for me, I think aircraft, for me, it's Le Petit Prince. It's Saint-Exupéry. I think
Yes.
I am almost sure that the first dream of mankind, of Homo
Yes.
sapiens, it was to fly. It was to fly. I don't know, Nicolas, if you already walk or make a trekking when there is no track, when there is no bridge to cross the river, and you lose one day just for one river. I am sure that for them, they were seeing the birds flying. They say, okay, we want to fly. And I think this dream, it's really a very important dream. And I think also that aircraft, this business, this industry of aircraft can show the track, because it will be there that it will be the most difficult things to decarbonize. It will be helicopter and aircraft. But if we can show that you can manage the most difficult things to decarbonize, it means that the rest will be even everything will be easier. And there is some people, I don't know in United States, maybe not, but in Europe now, who say that we cannot fly anymore because you are, of course, using some energy. I think we need to fight against these dogmatic people and ideologies
Yes.
people. And I want to say to this young generation that in the world of tomorrow, it will still be possible to fly, to make a ski, to make skydiving,
Yes.
but without burning any fossil energies, without emitting any CO2 and without noise. It will be better than what we have today. Of course, we need to do this with more conscious.
Yes.
To fly 10 hours for one weekend, maybe that will not be possible anymore. But if you want to go to South America for your holidays or for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it will still be possible. And that's what I want to demonstrate.
Yeah, I think you said it really well, and you're right. You touched upon the whole flight shaming. I think it's happening more in Europe, and it really makes me sad because flight aviation in general, all around, is 2.5% of emissions in this world, right? SUVs, pickup trucks, which everybody buys, right? That's 33%. Sea vessels, big cargo, that's 66%, and we're
House,
going after
house, air conditioning, so
air
much.
conditioning. you name it. There's so many other things, but we're going after the plastic straw, not the bag, not
Yeah.
everything else. We're going after the plastic. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, and it's true. And I have to say one thing in that case is I'm in Savannah, Georgia. When I go to Atlanta and I fly with Delta, we have a 757 fully packed, and it flies for exactly 25 minutes or 35 minutes, barely hits 18,000 feet and goes down. So yeah, the carbon footprint is horrible, but 6 hour flights, no, that's highly efficient. And that's the last thing too that most people don't understand is that I've heard things like, oh, flying is inefficient. I'm like, I beg to differ. It's very efficient. In fact, even on these modern airplanes, they only use 30% of their power just cruising. What do you know that uses only 30% of power to cruise? No cars, no boats, only air can do that. So yeah, there's a lot of demystifying that needs to happen. But I think also in Europe, you guys are
When
lucky
you
because
fly,
you're
you don't need the road, you don't need anything like this. Then this you have to take care to put in the consideration of the calculation. Boat and plane, you don't need to manage the water. It's a track,
nope, nope.
and the track of the air when you fly, it's free of charge. Look, this is true that we have to take care of everything now, and we need also to change. But it's completely stupid to start with the most difficult thing. It's only
Yeah,
3% because we see the aircraft. Okay, we know, but we need to start with the worst and the biggest problem, and this is not the aircraft. But if this industry of aircraft can show the track, I think this
yes,
is important. It was the case 100 years ago. They do
yes,
too much, and they put this
yes.
planet and our society in a new dogma. And I think they need now to understand that we need to change. This is also important. And some big company like Boeing or Airbus, I think they don't really do enough, in my point
They
of
don't
view.
do as much as they probably could
Yeah,
do. But
yeah.
then again, you know what? The problem is also the entire world is following a business model, a manufacturing model, and economics that just don't really help innovation. So yeah, I don't look to the big companies to innovate. They don't do that. But people like you, me, smaller companies, startups, that's what we do. We're just like that. And I'm glad that they went after the most difficult thing to decarbonize because the challenge has been picked up. So in this case, it doesn't really help those people trying to slow down all of this because look, it is happening. Even the maritime world is getting into electricity right now, and that's pretty exciting. So no, I think we're on the right path. It's just, you'll always have people who are laggards and dinosaurs, and they're always telling us about what is wrong. And what's right is what we have to focus on. What is wrong is what we have to leave behind. So there you go. More solutions than obstacles in general.
Yeah, just think optimist.
Yeah,
Not the
yeah,
optimist,
no.
they see solution in the problem. The pessimist, they saw problem in the solution.
Yeah, exactly. And up until now, we had the pessimists take over for the last 200 years, and it's like, all right, guys, you're cute. Why don't you put up, go and play somewhere else, like away from the adults here. So, yeah. And the tagline of my company, by the way, is there are more solutions than obstacles. Okay, that's it. That's all.
That's it. That's it. Well done, Nicolas.
All right, Raphael. Well, thank you very much for showing up today and being with us. I really, really, truly appreciate that. And for those of you who are still watching, please like, share, subscribe, and also write down on the comments. I mean, did you ever hear of a Solar Stratus? Did you ever hear of flying up to the stratosphere with an electric airplane? I mean, that's a whole new level of a challenge. What do you think of being an adventurer? Are there anyone around you, like maybe in preschool or early school, middle school, who are thinking about these things? Are you helping them to go in that direction? If not, please let them watch this, talk to us. We're very available people too, by the way. But I just wanted to thank you, Raphael, and to, by the way, say that please come back whenever you want. It's always a treat to talk to you. I love your enthusiasm. I love your energy. And mostly, I've been so fascinated with what you've been doing the last 10 decade plus now.
20
And I
years
love
now, 20
everything that you
years.
guys are doing. Yeah,
And please, you
absolutely.
can follow us on solarstratos.com. And we have a live cockpit. You can follow any flight like
Yes.
tomorrow. You can follow the flight in real times.
Yes. Yeah,
Thank you,
absolutely.
Nicolas, also
Absolutely.
for inviting me and for what you do, and hope to see you soon.
Likewise, Raphael. And then we'll try to do one in French next, but that's another one. That's another one. All right. Thank you, everyone. Be back next week.